All right, so this one should be able to be kept pretty short and sweet. Basically, one of the biggest things I see is this whole readiness, preparedness, which is great. I love it that people are getting prepared, they're training. But buying an AR and a pistol doesn't make you ready. If you just shoot off a bench, a lot of people, they come out to the range, they set up on a bench with a bag or a bipod, set up their target, and they just shoot at it. In any type of realistic scenario where you're going to have to use your gun defensively or offensively, there's not many scenarios where you're going to have a bag rest and you're going to be able to just sit there and take your shots nice and calm, nice and steady. You're going to be moving. You're going to be going behind stuff. You're going to be shooting from weird positions. Sometimes you're going to be switching left, right. You're going to be back and forth. So the biggest thing that I like to do is after somebody's gotten comfortable with the fundamentals of just shooting off a bench, you know how to load your gun, you can shoot it, damn bugs. You can also, your basic reloads and everything, once that's all done, you can throw in like a little bit of just basic standing and shooting too, like when you're doing the beginner's basic stuff with it, that's good. But you also want to implement in then later, you're going to want to have moving while shooting, both laterally, forward, back, diagonally. You're also going to want to shoot around corners. It's very easy to set up any kind of, a barrel. It doesn't matter what it is. Just shooting around something, coming around it, doing it from prone, kneeling. There's a bunch of different, we'll go over a whole bunch of this with movement and shooting, but you want to get used to being able to hold the gun and move and shoot with it. Now, obviously, this type of shooting is different than bench rest. You're not trying to shoot these little tight hole on top of hole type of groups with it. The goal is to get them in an effective zone. So I think a lot of people kind of hold back from shooting that way because they see a group that looks like this, and then they panic, like, oh, I can't shoot with the crap like that. Well, actually, though, that's kind of right in there. That's for what the kind of shooting is, that's not so bad, but you want to be able to do it. And I found that a lot of people who try it for the first time, who thought that going from bench to shooting and moving, it would be a fairly easy process, learn pretty quickly how difficult it is. You learn it very quickly, you get better at quite a fast rate, but it is not a bench to a proficient shooter when you're moving and shooting around cover and switching left hand, right hand, prone, back up to kneeling. When you're doing all of that, it is a lot different and it takes practice. And none of it's terribly difficult to learn, but if you don't do it, you're not going to learn it. And you really don't want to be in a scenario where you're trying to figure that out and learn that when you're no longer at a range training and instead you're really in it. So before you are ever really in a scenario where you need to know how to do it, go to the range and practice it so you at least have a good head start and know a little bit about shooting and moving in different positions before you get stuck in that scenario. Because the last thing you want to do is try to learn it in the middle of a gunfight. You want to be prepared ahead of time. So yeah, there's going to be a few drills we're going to show, but just keep in mind that bench rest shooting is great for the fundamentals, but beyond the very basics of learning how to use a gun, other than if I'm zeroing a rifle, I never shoot off a bench anymore, ever. Like, it is probably one of the rarest things in the world to see me shooting off a bench, other than if I'm zeroing in a brand new gun or switching an optic. That is the only time I'll do that. So just keep that in mind.